She had a van, she had 3 kids, she was divorced. And I thought, I don't need a van and 3 kids and a divorced woman in my life. That's trouble I just don't want.
Kody really should have trusted his gut, especially when it came to Robyn. Just take a look at pic number 5 from when they first met. That look says it all. You can bet when things really start to fall apart, those first impressions are going to resurface, and he won't let her forget it. Deep down, he probably already knows the truth. Robyn's version of her first marriage wasn't the whole story. Blaming everything on her ex, the so-called bio dad, was just easier. But after years of watching her pile on debt, manipulate situations, play the victim, and contribute very little around the house or with the kids, he's got to see the pattern. He just ignored it because, hey, it wasn't aimed at him, yet. Now that he suspects she might pull the same stunt on him that she did on her ex, all of that bottled-up resentment is ready to erupt. And if he's had even one of those thoughts, you can bet he'll throw them in her face the second he feels cornered. Honestly, it's classic Kody. This whole mess just proves how backward their thinking was. For whatever twisted reason, they brought Robyn and her 3 kids into a family that was already hanging on by a thread emotionally and financially. It was the wrong move, they knew it, and they did it anyway. And there she was, grinning like the damn Cheshire Cat the whole time. Kody's favorite hobby, apparently, was negging all his wives, as if he was doing them some big favor by being with them. He supposedly liked curvier women, but Christine? She was suddenly too chubby when they got married. He gets off on tearing women down. Even his beloved Robyn isn't safe from it. Honestly, I wouldn't wish a marriage to Kody on anyone. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. So the homes in the cul-de-sac are now pushing close to $1 million on Zillow. I know, it's just an estimate, but it got me wondering, what were those houses actually worth back when Kody was giving his big sales pitch about how they had the most equity in their homes? I took a quick look at one of the listings, I think it was Christine's, and they bought it for $443,000. Then in July 2018, right before the big Flagstaff move, it was listed for $675,000. But after sitting on the market for a whole year, they sold it for just $535,000. Whoops! And don't even get me started on how they kept saying, if we don't move this year, it'll be another 5 years before we see another graduation. Oh yes, we get it. You were all so focused on those graduations, right? Fast forward to now, and had they just waited 5 more years, those homes would have been worth a lot more. Imagine, they could have kept their family together, stayed in Vegas, and avoided the oh-so-traumatic Arizona move. Sure, we can't blame them for COVID, because no one saw that coming. But still, staying put could have meant they all stayed under one roof during the pandemic, and maybe, just maybe, there wouldn't have been such a mess of a split. But no, instead, they had to cash out whatever tiny equity they had. Watch it vanish with the costs of the move and the rentals, and poof, no family unity during the pandemic. Seriously, what would have been so wrong with staying in Vegas? The kids were thriving there. Sure, things still would have gotten complicated, but at least they would have had familiar surroundings and support systems. What would COVID have looked like if they stayed in the cul-de-sac? Would being there have helped them stay connected? Maybe, but then again, we're talking about a family with many differing views on lockdowns and social distancing, so who knows? Instead, you'd have Kody and Robyn and their kids locked away in Robyn's house on one side of the street, while Christine and her kids hung out with Janelle and hers on the other side, coming and going as they please. And poor Meri, she probably wouldn't have been so isolated if they'd stayed together. But hey, what do I know? Staying in Vegas might have actually been their best option all along. Garrison caught the garter at Maddie's wedding. Yep, just like the title says. I'm rewatching Maddie's wedding episode for the first time since Garrison passed, and wow, what a gut punch. Seeing him standing there, smiling, catching the garter, it just wrecked me. At that moment, he probably believed in something like soulmates, marriage, a future that felt whole, and somewhere along the way, he lost that hope. I'm grateful he got a little spotlight at the wedding, even if it was fleeting. Watching the show now is a completely different experience. It's so much heavier than it was just a year ago. I feel for all of the kids, but any episode that features Garrison feels like a punch to the chest. I truly hope the rest of them are in therapy and getting the support they need. Honestly, I don't even know if I can finish this rewatch. Knowing what we know now, it's just a lot. Garrison was so outgoing, so full of life. You could feel the spark in him. His loss is enormous, and you know the family is feeling every bit of it. I started this rewatch as a way to reconnect. I watched the early seasons back when they aired, lost touch for a while, and kept up with news here and there. After Garrison died, I decided to go back and start over. I made it through seasons 1 to 6 before I hit a wall of boredom, so I jumped ahead to the latest season, then circled back to pick up where I left off. That shift in perspective hit me hard. Right now, I'm almost through season 12, nearly at 13. Every time Garrison appears on screen, it just tears me up. I recently watched the scene where he returns from basic training. He was glowing. You could see how proud he was, how happy he was to be home. It's devastating. Absolutely devastating. My sister wife's closet could have made a killing if they had just stuck to selling cheap t-shirts, quirky jewelry with sister wives slogans, and a bunch of trinkets for $10, $15 a pop. I mean, who really thought people tuning in to watch a reality show would drop hundreds of dollars on ugly jewelry? The moment I saw the prices, I knew it was doomed to fail. And don't even get me started on Meri's bed and breakfast. The prices she charges are absolutely insane. It could have been a gold mine, but the place looks like it hasn't been updated since the 80s. I wouldn't want to stay there either. Her remodel is probably an attempt to modernize, but honestly, it might just be the lifeline she's hoping for. Now, Robyn, the mastermind behind Sister Wife's Closet, clearly influenced the whole vibe of the business. She takes herself way too seriously, is always decked out in jewelry, and probably thought she was running a luxury brand. But let's be real, low-priced, fun items with a little cheeky twist would have been more her speed. Instead, she aimed for the stars and surprise, the business crashed and burned. Honestly, I don't know what kind of market research they did, but it seems like none at all. And can we talk about the name? Sister Wife's Closet sounds like it's going to be all about clothes, right? But nope, they decided to sell jewelry. What a joke. I genuinely don't know how anyone thought this was a good idea. Robyn clearly thought she was offering beautiful jewelry, but considering her taste in everything else, from decorating to fashion choices, it's pretty clear she has no clue what tasteful even means. Okay. So Tony showing up at my Kelty's wedding dress fitting? Yeah, weird, I know. But of course, he spins it as some kind of challenge to norms. Like he's out here rewriting gender roles or something. In reality, though, it just feels super controlling. Tony's whole vibe is extremely conservative when it comes to gender roles, and let's be real, he clearly thinks he's the superior one in their relationship. Like, instead of just supporting my Kelty and celebrating the fact that she's about to get married, he feels the need to swoop in and take control. It's honestly toxic as hell. I remember a conversation about something similar the other day, and yeah, it came across as low-key controlling. I don't even remember the exact wording he used, but it was something like, I have to see her in the dress to make sure it looks good, which is, not how this should work. Then there's the whole hair opinion thing. Christine even pointed out that's just so Tony. He'll drop his opinion without any tact, and it's clear he thinks his word is law. And don't get me started on his weird obsession with Christine's love life. I've watched some clips from their Patreon. Thanks, YouTube. And Tony constantly takes over conversations. My Kelty will be talking, and before she can finish her thought, he's jumping in like he knows what happened. Sure, maybe she told him her side, but that doesn't mean that's how it went down, Tony. It's like he's acting like he's the one who lived it. Oh, and the whole Tony and Robyn trying to pick my Kelty's hairstyle for the day? Yeah, not necessarily controlling, but definitely odd. Maybe not the worst thing, but still, definitely weird. Oh, absolutely. My opinions have done a complete 180 on some of these folks. It's like being on an emotional roller coaster, except I didn't sign up for the ride. Family dynamics on this show, a wild mess, and my feelings about them have shifted more than a few times. Let's start with Leon. Early on, I couldn't stand their holier-than-thou, condescending vibe. I was sure they were destined to be the next sister wife, just waiting in the wings for their moment. But lo and behold, as soon as they moved off to college, they somehow grew on me. Who knew? Then there's Janelle. On a rewatch, I have to admit, I was wrong about her. In the beginning, she seemed like the sensible, hardworking, no-drama person in the family. She was the cool one, right? Turns out, she was really just playing on Kody's team the whole time, letting the other wives handle the domestic stuff. And surprise, surprise, she had zero real relationships with anyone else in the family. She just didn't want to rock the boat, unless it was her own boat, of course. Now let's talk about Janelle again. Yes, twice, because I'm that conflicted. For the longest time, she was my favorite. She seemed the least problematic, always seemed to keep her cool. But after realizing she was fine with a religion that encouraged her to go after her sister wife's husband because she thought he was hot. Yikes. At one of those panel discussions, she literally said the religion empowered her to choose her husband, regardless of who he was already married to. Hilarious. Oh, and let's not forget how she'd pull the complain about the other wives' routine to Kody. Meri was insufferable, and Christine was a princess. Super classy move. And honestly, I couldn't even look at Janelle the same after learning about her trying to get with her sister wife's husband, on his wife's birthday, no less. That's next level petty. Like, why go out of your way to be that much of an asshole? As much as I don't care for Meri, I'm starting to think there was a lot more going on behind the scenes than we ever saw. Maybe we don't get the whole story. And honestly, it's hard to say who's really the villain when everyone's playing their own dirty game. As for Christine, my view of her took a hit when she chose to leave Kody. Not because he was a terrible husband and father, which, let's be real, he was, but because he wouldn't sleep with her anymore. I mean, really? That's the breaking point. I can't help but feel like there was a whole lot more going on that we didn't get to see. Still, I'm not throwing her under the bus completely, but that definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. In the end, I'm still Team Janelle and Christine, but let's just say my rose-colored glasses have definitely been removed. These people are a hot mess, and it's hard to look at them the same way once you realize just how deep the dysfunction runs. Who knew sister wives could be so complicated? Why did the Browns really leave Utah? Oh, I'm sure there's a totally logical reason, right? I grew up in Utah, and I'm convinced there's more to this story than they're letting on. In fact, I'm pretty sure if they'd stuck around, they'd have lasted longer as a family, though, let's be real, they probably still would have self-destructed eventually. Now, I don't live in a known polygamist area, but my family roots run deep in it. Both sides of my ancestry practiced polygamy until over a century ago, but I'm not religious, not even close. Still, my extended family? Oh yeah, staunchly mainstream Mormon. And guess what? Polygamists are everywhere. You see them all the time, like clockwork, family of 5 or 15, piling into a van, 3 wives in tow, cartloads of Costco groceries, yard work on a Sunday afternoon, or hosting garage sales. You know they're polygamists by the dress, hairstyles, and sheer number of kids. It's a lifestyle you just can't miss. I even know some polygamist men who run respectable businesses in town. They're not hidden away. They don't get hassled, at least not where I can see. Sure, maybe some of them experience harassment behind closed doors, but I'm just saying, from where I stand, it's all pretty peaceful. And as for the Browns, they're all about making a big deal of how they were brave to go public with their polygamy on TV. But let's be honest, they act like they're the first family ever to do so. No, the real brave ones are the families who have been living openly for decades in Utah without causing a scene. And yet, the Browns act like they've single-handedly forced Utah into action, pushing the state to investigate them. Hello. As we all know, that investigation went nowhere. And let's be real, the whole lawsuit probably tossed out because the only damage they sustained came from pulling their kids out of everything they'd ever known, playing the victim, and then blaming the state for their bad decisions. If you're going to publicly announce that you're living in defiance of the law, maybe don't act shocked when the consequences show up at your doorstep. But hey, let's call it bravery and revolutionary. The Browns are, after all, the pioneers of polygamy on reality TV, and then there's the endless whining about how Utah supposedly forced them out. Please, if Utah really had a problem with polygamy, the place would be in flames by now. But no, Utah doesn't care. Just don't marry children and don't abuse anyone, and guess what? You're good. Mainstream Mormons are the ones obsessed with making it clear that they no longer practice polygamy, except, in the celestial kingdom. The Browns, they've got the same persecution complex as the mainstream LDS, acting like they're being hunted down for their beliefs. So yeah, this is my rant. What the Browns did wasn't brave or groundbreaking or even that special. It was financially motivated, ego-driven, and, let's be honest, a pretty entertaining guilty pleasure to follow. And yeah, I'll keep watching, because despite it all, I genuinely wish them the healing they probably need after all the chaos they've stirred up. Oh, and by the way, I'm a Utahn too. Grew up in South Jordan, went to high school with Meri's brother, Janelle's first husband. Back in the 80s, there were polygamists all around Bluffdale. Guess what? The government didn't care then either. Honestly, I think their whole "we were forced out" storyline was just a dramatic device to make the show more interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.